Criminal here. In this one, I'm just gonna give you a basic guide, basically, to using Sento stance. Now, I will say from the get-go, just this isn't very simple. Like, I won't lie and say it's very easy to learn. Sento stance is probably the second hardest mechanic in the game to actually learn to utilize correctly. Only falling short against Giras's Sand clone. That's the only thing that's more difficult to actually learn, but regardless, the way Sento stance works, just first of all, let's go over the inputs you can do. You go into Sento. Now, if I hold R1, the puppet isn't affected. I can't control it. When I'm holding R1, it stands there, it does nothing. If I stop holding R1, it will move with me depending on the direction, and it will attack depending on my buttons I'm pressing. So, if I put a square with this bonk, triangle is this, circle is this, and X is this massive leaping slash that pops up for combos, which is insane. So, yeah, these are basically the only 4 moves the puppet can do. We can't do anything else. And keep in mind, the same things apply to Shujinko stealing the puppet. There is no difference. The puppet works the exact same way. So, yeah. Now, another thing important to mention about this, which is probably the most powerful thing about Sento, is you can actually attack with Sento and control it while blocking, which is extremely busted just because stuff like this is possible. Like, and now I'll switch to the other Kenshi. I'm switching to the other Kenshi and I'll put the other Kenshi on block, pretty much. Now he's blocking me. Look at this. Actually, no, that's not a very good example. How do I want to do this? I have an idea. Yeah, that's a better idea. Let me just control the Kenshi again. And call myself. Ah, damn it, never mind. Just keep in mind, if I'm like this, my opponent is attacking me on block and Sento isn't stunned. Sento gets stunned when you get hit, so if Kenshi was to... where is it? There we go. If the other Kenshi was to do this... Why is it not working? There we go. If Kenshi was to attack me, you can see the puppet getting stunned. He will be in this position for a while, and afterwards he recovers. So, the good thing about this now is if Kenshi does it again, I can actually punish him on block and get full combos, which is completely busted. So, and this is probably the most powerful thing about Sento. Just the way you can actually control it and attack your enemy while blocking, which is extremely busted. So, yeah, this is basically in a nutshell how Sento stance works, but now just how it works in combos. First of all, when you summon Sento, including the Shujinko, like, there is a moment I can't move for a little while, but Sento can actually input and attack the moment you summon it. So, I can do this, press triangle, and Sento will already attack my opponent. Now, another thing to keep in mind, while you actually need to hold R1 to just make the puppet not attack, or not be affected by your inputs, there is actually a cooldown. Look at this, I'll have him do this, and I'll have him do it again. Look, I can't do it instantly, it takes a cooldown. I'm mashing X. And I'll mash triangle. You see, it takes a while for him to actually be capable of attacking again. So now what that means is I can basically do combos even without this. So pretty much, because this thing pretty much lasts for an entire the cooldown of Sento lasts pretty much for 3 hits most of the time, like 3 hits in a string, something like this. This is basically how long the cooldown lasts. So in Kenshi's B&B, which is like this, I don't have to hold R1. I'm not holding R1 here, and it's still working because of Sento's cooldown. But in this situation, you do want to hold R1 because if not, Sento will attack, and then you can't full combo. But if you hold R1, you can do this and you get a full combo. So in certain situations, you don't have to hold R1, but I would recommend you just get used to holding R1 all the time, because that way it just becomes more of muscle memory, and just you don't have to think about it that much. Because when you actually start and think about holding R1 or not holding R1, it makes you drop more combos, just from my experience. So, yeah, in a combo like this, basically, I don't have to hold R1, but let's say something like this. Actually, I don't think even this requires you holding R1. This is Kenshi's optimal, by the way. Does more damage than the B&B. But something like this, let's say, requires you hold R1. This is basically from the mix-up, like from the low starter. In his mix-up, you want to be holding R1, because if not, it just won't work. So if I get the low in this mix-up, as you can see, I actually made Sento dash while attacking, so I can just make it dash while I'm attacking my opponent. So a very good tip I would give you for Sento control is just try and input your strings before you actually finish the animation. Like, don't wait for the first attack to hit and then input the second one. Just do it right away. That way, you can finish your string like after you can finish a 3-hit string like this. Like when the animation is only on the first hit, and then you can actually control Sento much faster. As you can see, I could actually move it faster. So I would recommend you just try and finish your strings as fast as possible, your inputs. Now, for example, a combo that actually requires me to hold R1, just in a combo, is something like this. If I don't hold R1, you see it doesn't work. But if I do hold R1, it works. So basically, I would recommend just get used to holding R1 at all times. This is much easier to just keep in mind and then utilize correctly. Like if you don't practice just holding R1 all the time, you might drop some combos just for miss inputs. Like by accident you held R1 when you didn't want to. If you just train to do all your combos when holding R1, it will be much easier with Kenshi. Now another thing I want to mention is just after you run out of Sento, you can see I'm stuck in Sento stance, but I don't have my puppet, so now I'm much weaker. This is unsafe. This is unsafe. So many of my strings are now unsafe. You can make it work, but with the freeze type cameo, there's actually a very cool thing you can do, which is this. There is a way to actually restart the puppet's cooldown by doing this. Down back triangle, the amplified version. Normally it just moves the puppet back to you, like if I do it, it comes back to me, but if I ran out of Sento, or if Sento is just in the middle, it just restarts the clock. Now, a good way you can utilize this is when you're using a freeze type cameo, you can actually use this to re-summon Sento without even leaving the stance. So let me just wait for Sento to run out. I'll do whatever combo in the meantime. As you can see, it ran out. Now I'm stuck in Sento. If I want to leave, I need to do the animation that takes a while to leave, like canceling Sento stance. So now I don't want to leave because I'm vulnerable that way. So what you can do with Kenshi, if you're using a freezer like Kenshi, like Sub-Zero or Frost, actually even Cyrax might work if you know how to use Cyrax with Kenshi. You could just land the hit, let's say this low, you got them with the low, they thought you're gonna go over it, you went low. You got them with this, go into the freeze, re-summon the puppet, and get a combo continuing. And on wake up, what you want to do with this character is hold block most of the time and press triangle. Because if people armor wake up will actually block the armored attack, and you could actually even hit them out of their armored attacks if you're using it. So if I left Kenshi, let's say get up, I let him get up with whatchamacallit, the soul charge, this one, completely armored. So if I try and attack him, he just armored through my attack. So he just armored through it. But now if I have Sento, I'll hold block and do this. Now I got a punish. Sento is disappeared for a little bit, but it returns pretty quickly. Once you get hit, or once the puppet gets hit, like it just crouches to the ground basically. Like you can see here, basically the puppet got hit. What happens is just like he ducks to the ground for a while, recharges, and then he stands back up. So very, very powerful. And again, just holding block and pressing triangle when your opponent is waking up is the safest option you have, because once you do it once, they will just not armor wake up again for the next time, and then you can start enforcing your mix-up. Like most of the time when you do it, and your enemy will armor wake up, like, let me just show you what I mean. Like I do a Sento stance combo, I got a hit. He dropped, but regardless. I do a combo, I feel his armor wake upping, I'm blocking and doing this, now I get a full combo again. And this time, he'll be afraid, so I can do the overhead. So yeah, this just enhances the mix-up a lot, so I would recommend pretty much if you are low on HP and you just can't afford to take the hit, you can't afford to risk it, I would recommend you just all the time when your opponent is waking up, hold block and cancel into the triangle. Now, let's talk about block strings, how to utilize Sento in block. Now, the way Sento works on block is probably the main power of this stance even. Just when your opponent is blocking, you can cancel the recovery of your moves into Sento attacks. So, basically, they can't attack you back, pretty much. This is actually a infinite block string. Now the chip damage isn't crazy, but the powerful thing about this, just how good it is on block, is that you can do your strings whatever, like this overhead right here, cancel the Sento, and it's still your turn. So you can do this overhead, then this overhead, then this low. So it just creates an insane mix-up. And honestly, man, when your opponent is blocking Sento, most of the time what they'll do is just after the Sento does this triangle move, they'll try an armored move. So basically, if I put him on reversal mode, and I make him do the armor move of his, you can see he will just spam the armor. Now, if you actually do this mix-up, it's completely guaranteed, so you can't even armor move. You can see it also breaks the armor. Now, a good thing about this, again, is just you can read his own armor and just get the entire thing back, because normally people are so afraid of Sento to just armor right away. The moment they can actually input the armor, they'll spam it and it will just come out eventually. But if you know it's gonna come, just block, get a full punish. So yeah, this is pretty much the power of Sento block. You can cancel the recovery of all of your attacks into a Sento attack, and then you'll completely just plus a block. So yeah, this is of course one of the more powerful things about the stance. And I guess that's pretty much it. Just, I would recommend you try and again, just learn all of Kenshi's combos, or just whatever combo you do with a character in training mode using Shujinko or whatever. I would recommend practice holding R1 at all times. Unless it's just your combos with certain characters can actually just be much more complex, so it's more difficult to be holding R1 and still land the combo, but when you can hold R1 and still get the combo relatively easily, I would recommend you always hold R1 when you don't want Sento to attack, even if it's on cooldown, just because it makes it much easier to get the muscle memory sync down. So yeah, this is pretty much it for Sento stance. This is the basic guide you need to just get started with the puppet. Now I will say this is not that easy to learn and not that easy to get used to, because nobody else has this mechanic, only Kenshi has it, so don't be frustrated if it might take you some time. Take your time, try and just learn to utilize it correctly. Once you actually manage to do it, you will be rewarded by quite possibly the best character in the entire game. And yeah, I hope you really tried and learned Kenshi, especially if you're near my region, because goddamn, that double Sento fishing vid is just killing my soul at this point. I started trying to look for Kenshi's online at rank Grandmaster. I'm now like 3 sets away from rank God, so just understand how bad it is. So yeah. So yeah guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up here. I hope this helps you with Kenshi if you were struggling. I'll see you in the next one.